After nearly 300 stages over tarmac, gravel and snow, the WRC has arrived in Wales for the season's finale. With Sebastian Loeb already crowned as Drivers' Champion and Ford wrapping up the Manufacturers' Championship, there are only a few minor issues to be decided. In fact, the crew's biggest adversary could be the weather. With Wales Rally GB returning to its traditional slot at the end of the season, the drivers could face the worst of the British winter.
Seems to be very, very difficult because there's a lot of more mud than the last 2 years before, and it makes it very difficult and easy to make a mistake.
It's always difficult. I mean, it's always slippy and muddy. It's not an easy rally.
And what about that mud? Will there be lots of it?
Yeah, no doubt about that. There already was on recce, and although it's not raining now, I'm sure it's going to rain soon.
Most places have good grip, and then there come a corner and there is deep mud and it's very slippery there.
How'd you get it right in the mud? What's the driving technique?
Just hope to stay on the road, basically. That's it.
But whatever the conditions, nobody has to worry about championship points or team orders. This will be a straight race to the finish. One man looking forward to that is Mikko Hirvonen. Third position in the Drivers' Championship, including his maiden WRC win in Australia, the title of Most Improved Driver in 2006. Is this his chance to show just how far he's come and see if he can beat teammate Marcus Gronholm, who's won 6 events this year?
There's no pressure. We secured all the titles and medals in New Zealand. So what's left here? Just fight with Marcus and Petter.
Can you beat Marcus?
I don't know. I'll try, and I'll go for it for sure. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe I go off the road, or maybe I can fight with him. Who knows?
It's no secret Mikko Hirvonen, your teammate, is desperate to beat you here.
I hope he... Yeah, he's not doing that, but he will try, yes. Yeah, for sure, and he will be quick, I'm sure.
But Hirvonen won't have the opportunity to compare himself with Loeb, who, with the driver's title safely in the bag, is still ruled out by his broken arm. A few issues to be decided, most notably who finishes fourth, Danny Sordo or Manfred Stoll. In the Manufacturers' Championship, with Ford and Kronos Citroën confirmed in the top 2 places, Subaru just need a point to finish third. 17 stages await the crews over the 3 days of this rally, which is based in the Welsh capital of Cardiff, with the service park situated at Swansea. So come wind, rain or shine, get ready for some great action on these Welsh stages. Stages which will test the drivers' reactions to the max. We'll be looking at just how sharp these guys are. So let's get straight to the action. Here's Paul King at the start line of stage 1, Port Talbot.
Well, the championships may all be decided, but that won't make Marcus Gronholm any less hungry for victory. Here we go then for the 16th and final time this year. We're underway. 3 days of action through the forests of southern Wales to come. Marcus hasn't won here since 2001, so he'll be hoping to end the run of bad luck he's suffered in Britain since then. And with Sebastian Loeb still absent, he'll certainly be confident of doing so. And as in the case of this famous old rally, visibility is pretty atrocious this morning. For once though, Gronholm may come under real threats from his teammate. Has patiently played second fiddle to his more experienced compatriot to help Ford secure the manufacturer's title this season. But with the championship sewn up in New Zealand, Mikko has been let off the leash this weekend, so it will be fascinating to see if he can challenge Gronholm. Huge jump from Hirvonen there. He's really attacking already this morning. Back with Danny Sordo now on the start line. Well, Hirvonen's star has definitely been in ascendancy for the half of the season. Danny's has dimmed somewhat after his explosion into the top flight earlier this year. Oh, but he's clipped the back there, and that's another frustrating start for the Spaniard. Well, let's take another look. He just seemed to alter his line at the very last second to avoid a rock there, and that will have cost a fair amount of time, which will be good news for Manfred Stoll. The Austrian is fighting Sordo for 4th spot in the Drivers' Championship and starts Rally GB just 1 point behind, and Stoll is the man in form on gravel. Back with Gronholm meanwhile, and the Finn has looked at his imperious best through this opening test. Finish boards fast approaching now. His time 17.5 kilometers in 9 minutes and 8.7 seconds. That's a great start for Gronholm. So a strong pace being set for Mikko Hirvonen to match. Terrific action here with the pace notes coming thick and fast from Jarmo Liitonen. It's been a promising start for Mikko and Jarmo too. Looking at the early splits, he was dead level with his teammate after 4.2 kilometers and actually up a little after 9. So we could indeed see a real battle developing between the Ford boys this weekend.
Oikein nopea tiukka käännä. 100. Pitkä vasen serpo tiukka.
Oh, but he's gone very wide there. Oh, and that didn't seem like a big mistake, but that was a very heavy impact. And that could have cost him a couple of seconds with the end of the stage in sight. Yes, he's 3.7 seconds down. That's frustrating after his pace on that stage. Just look at the damage to the side of the Focus.
Mikko, there's a lot of damage to your side of the car, but the time is still good. What happened?
Just in the second last corner we went wide and hit the stone sideways really hard. Really stupid mistake. We were doing so well. And now we have some damage in the car, so it's going to be difficult now.
Third fastest on stage is Manfred Stoll, who appears to be on top in that battle for fourth place in the Drivers' Championship. He's a full 10 places and 23 seconds ahead of his rival Sordo, who had that spin. Petter Solberg, 4 times a winner here in Wales, wants to end the season on a high. At the first split, he's fastest. Solberg so strong and confident on these slippery gravel stages. But he's starting to look rather loose here. And this will cost him. The clock shows 5 seconds dropped with that stall. He's fourth, just half a second behind Stoll. Chevy Pons is once again in the number 1 Zara, taking Loeb's seat in the Frenchman's absence. A nervous moment there. The Spaniard was flying on the last day in New Zealand, and with his future uncertain, is fighting to prove himself. So the 2 Fords topping the table as they did throughout the rally in New Zealand. Chris Atkinson 6th as we go into stages 2 and 3. Heavy rain overnight has led to these stages being much more slippery than they were during shakedown. It's an important event for Chevy Pons, but whether it's tension or the conditions, he seems to be finding it hard to get to grips with the event. And he's lost grip totally here. Pons drops 6 places. Henning Solberg's had a torrid couple of events, retiring in Australia and then suffering a big role in New Zealand. And this won't help his confidence. It takes Solberg and his co-driver Kato Menkerud 5 minutes to get the car back on the road. Second place Mikko Hirvonen had that incident on stage 1, of course, and you can see the evidence on the driver's door of the car. With no team orders, he's eager to attack his teammate, the rally leader Marcus Gronholm. He's keen to see if he can match the pace of the 2-times world champion. He's second fastest after Gronholm on stages 2 and 3, despite the damage to his Focus.
Steering is not straight, and we have a lot of toe in the rear wheel, so it's not turning well in the left. But then again, it's very good on the right, so it's 50-50.
The crews head to service in Swansea, with Petter Solberg having taken 3rd from Manfred Stoll. Jari-Matti Latvila's an impressive 5th. But there's bad news for Ford back at service. Mikko Hirvonen is forced to retire. Though the damage to his Focus looks repairable, there's a critical problem under that crumpled metal. The roll cage has been damaged, and the safety implications mean the car cannot continue.
You know, even though
they're putting a brave face on it, but it must be a real disappointment that this broken bar has ended Mikko's chances.
You know, it's really a shame. I would love to finish the rally and even though what happened in the first stage, I really enjoyed it. So all the 3 stages. So a shame that ended like this. We would have a good, maybe want to finish in a rally and end the season like that, but you know, it didn't happen.
Yes, not a great way to finish because you were going to beat Marcus here, weren't you? It was obvious.
yeah, shame. But then again, we do it next year, no problem.
So with Mikko out, everyone's place. Newly crowned British Rally champion Mark Higgins is 8th behind the 2 Kronos Citroens. Stahl goes back up to 3rd, but he'll be battling Solberg for 2nd place. Less than 6 seconds separate them. So let's join that duel on stage 4 with commentator Paul King.
And here is Stoll at the start of the Port Talbot stage. This is the first of the repeated runs through the morning stages, and with a field of over 100 cars competing this weekend, a lot of rocks will have pulled onto the surface, so an extra hazard to contend with this afternoon. And Solberg will be a much happier man this weekend. After such a frustrating season, he finally seems happy with the car's performance. He'll be desperate to hold on to the runner-up spot. The Norwegian has had a tremendous record here in recent years, of course, and a win is not out of the question as long as he can stay in touch with the early leader. That man, once again, is Marcus Gronholm. The Finn is already well into the stage and looking to keep Solberg and Stoll at arm's length. After his teammate Hirvenen's enforced departure, he's under a little less pressure to push, but he's well aware of Solberg's abilities through the Welsh forests. Let's catch up with the former world champion.
It was a shame for Mikko. He couldn't continue, and now it will be a long rally. We will see. Maybe Solberg is pushing like hell, so I have to fight. We don't know yet.
So Gronholm seems happy enough. Back with Stoll now, and he's looked impressive through this second running of the Port Talbot stage. Through the long sweeping bends that caught out Mikko Hirvonen earlier, and looking at Gronholm's time, I think the Austrian's got a real chance of beating the Finn here. Yes, that's a terrific performance from Manfred and co-driver Ilkka Minor. He's nearly 2 seconds quicker, and that could put real pressure on Petter Solberg.
In the beginning of the stage we had a puncture, so then it was for 2-3 kilometers was difficult to drive the car, but then was okay.
Solberg's got a real fight on his hands then. His lead before this test, remember, was just 5.9 seconds. But let's have a quick look at how the Norwegians compared so far. He started well, probably due to that puncture that Manfred referred to, but he was 1.7 seconds slower at the midway split, so he can't afford to have lost much more time.
20, turn, big cut, hairpin right.
Well, let's look at virtual spectator to compare the two drivers as if they'd entered the together.
5 right cross half long, Tritons 4.
Well, Solberg is going to be slower than Stoll, but will he remain in second? There's the time he needs to beat to do so at the bottom right of your screen.
Into 6 right cross long. 6 right cross long, 40.
Yes, he's inside that target time, but he loses 1.4 seconds to Stoll, and his lead is reduced to 4.5.
2-0.
Petter, it's a battle for second between you and Manfred. You've lost 1.4 in there to me. Still got second, though.
Yeah, but we're trying hard. We're trying hard, and I'm... what can I say? It's lacking this small, you know, everywhere, but I'm trying, and it's not bad, but it should have been much quicker.
Jari-Matti Latvala ended his production world campaign with 2 wins, so maybe no surprises he's performing so well here, 4th overall, and that is the highest placing achieved by a driver for the Stobart VK Ford team so far this season. He's broken his bumper in that water splash, and it's now affecting his visibility, a real handicap at high speeds. But not for long, vision restored, and he holds his position. Subaru's Chris Atkinson is running 5th. These forest roads may be narrow, wet and greasy, but Wales Rally GB is still fast. It's one of the quickest on the calendar. And Atkinson's showing off the impressive pace.
9 left, 50 tight, hug very long, 8.
The two Citroens are battling between themselves close behind him. Chevy Pons making up for the time lost with that spin on stage 2, and he beats his teammate by 3 seconds. That's enough for him to climb above Danny Sordo, albeit with a tiny lead. So Pons now 6th, with Sordo less than 3 seconds behind, and Francois Duval has moved into 8th, only 8 seconds further back. In the battle for 2nd, Solberg still holds the position, but he's now just 4.5 seconds ahead of Stoll. The final 2 stages of the day are reruns through Resolfen and Riola, including the spectator area at Walters Arena. Chevy Pons is hoping to cap his recent strong performances with a first podium finish. But he's held up because one of his tyres has been destroyed by the abrasive gravel. He drops 24 seconds to Danny Sordo over stage 5. So the young Catalan is once again in front of his teammate. For Sordo, who's signed for Citroën next year to drive a C4, this is a final outing in the Zara. 5th. Both Kronos Citroens have moved ahead of Chris Atkinson. The Australian loses more than a minute on stage 6. His Impreza stalls on a hairpin and he can't get the engine going again. Atkinson's 7th overall. But a stall is a minor problem in comparison to the fate that befalls Andreas Eigner in his Fabia. He gets it all wrong at that corner and just can't rescue the situation. Back at the top of the table, 3rd place Manfred Stoll, like Pons, has tyre problems. He loses time with a series of punctures, caused because the afternoon stages had dried out more than he'd expected, and he took the wrong rubber. No problems for Petter Solberg in 2nd place. The Norwegian having no complaints with his tyres, and he's able to attack. He's joint fastest on stage 5 and wins stage 6, pulling 14 seconds from Stoll. Up ahead, all seems to be going smoothly for Marcus Gronholm. Other than Solberg, Marcus is the last man to have won here. That was back in 2001. He's still in charge in 2006, though he'll be starting to feel the pressure from the Norwegian. So Petter Solberg 22 seconds ahead of Stoll, and he took 8.5 seconds out of Gronholm too, so the Finn's lead is now just under 26 seconds. Sordo and Pons are 5th and 6th, Atkinson 7th, and Mark Higgins back in 8th place. A few moments now to remember Michael Park, the co-driver who was killed in an accident in Wales Rally GB last year. Michael, or Beef as he was known, was a hugely popular character who won 5 rallies alongside Marco Martin. His honesty, simplicity and joy for life have been much missed by the WRC fraternity. In memory of Beef, a group of his friends and colleagues have created the Michael Park Trophy to be awarded to the season's outstanding co-driver. The first is Daniel Eleanor, who's won the World Championship alongside Sebastian Loeb. Eleanor was in Wales today to receive the trophy from Michael's widow Marie and their 2 children, William and Victoria. Join us after the break for day 2 of Wales Rally GB. We rejoin the action at the start of stage 7 with commentator Paul King.
It's been a good weekend so far for Manfred Stoll. He was locked in battle with Petter Solberg for much of the first leg, but he lost some time in the later stages, and so starts day 2, 22 seconds down on the Norwegian.
3, 2, 1.
Solberg's strong finish to the day saw him close a little on leader Marcus Gronholm. He begins the second morning 25.8 seconds behind the and sets off determined to close the gap yet further.
6 right minus tightens, give in 20, keep right of the crest and 5 left bust of the crest, half long tightens 4, tightens 3 tightens, and neat 6 right extra long tightens 5 bus, half long over crest, 60, keep right of the crest.
Oh, but a mistake here from Solberg. He seemed to carry a bit too much speed into that corner, and that's certainly not going to help his efforts on catching Gronholm. The car's stuck at the side of the road. Luckily, some nearby spectators are on hand to help push out the Impreza, but he's going to lose a lot of time here.
Okay, get it together then, okay.
Calming words from co-driver Phil Mills, but that's also going to give Stoll a real chance of closing on Solberg. Using Virtual Spectator, we can compare the two as they arrive at this corner. And although Petter is behind Stoll at this point, he's a lot later on the brakes as they close on the corner and arrives 18 kilometres faster. And that seems to have made all the difference. Meanwhile, unaware of his rival's slip-up, Marcus Gronholm's about to make his way into the stage. Off he goes, and with Solberg falling back, he'll soon be feeling a lot more secure in his pursuit of that 25th career win. I'm sure Petter is a frustrated man inside that car. He'll do all he can, of course, to keep the time lost to a minimum, but he was stationary for a long time. He was 22.3 seconds ahead of Stoll coming into this stage, but taking a look at the early split times, it's not looking good. At the halfway point, he was 27 seconds down. That would put Stoll in second, and here at the next split, and Solberg's made up a couple of seconds, but that's still not enough to hold on to his position. And Stoll will have receiving these split times inside the car, so he knows he has a real opportunity here to move ahead of Subaru's number one.
Stop.
He's cleared the stage okay, and that's a pretty good time from the Austrian. So back with Solberg then. Has he been able to continue his fight back after that mistake? After that last split, he was only behind by just over 3 seconds overall. But he needs to better that target time to hold on to second, and it doesn't look good. No, he's lost second. Oh, he was actually slower than Stoll again over that last sector, but he's now 4.5 seconds behind.
You've lost second place. What happened?
I tried very hard from the start, and I did a mistake over request. I had a lot of understeer, and that's it. We got stuck.
Solberg's off has made Marcus Gronholm's rally lead look even more secure. The Finn beats Stoll too and extends his advantage over his rivals to 50 seconds. Behind the top three, Jari-Matti Latvala's putting in a great performance. Especially when you consider that this is his first drive in the 2006 spec Focus for Stobart VK Ford. He's fourth overall, but is coming under attack from Xavier Pons. The Spaniard wins his first stage of the rally and once again overhauls his teammate Danny Sordo to take fifth. He's also 9.5 seconds faster than Latvala. The margin between them just 8 seconds overall. Sordo's now sixth, 7 seconds behind Pons. At the top, Gronholm's pulling away. Stoll's second. Petter Solberg now trailing him by 4.5 seconds thanks to that slide. Gravel, mud, water and speed. It's a recipe for double drama. Once again, Wales Rally GB's slippery gravels causing havoc for the crews with spins, slides and stalls. Sometimes you get away with it. Other times, as with Mikko Hirvonen on day one, the slide has rally-ending consequences. Changing grip levels, obstacles, even animals, rally drivers have to react quickly to deal with all the surprises that rally, unlike track racing, has in store. You don't see moose at Monza, or bulls at the Nürburgring. Chris Atkinson showed his incredible reflexes in Rally Japan. Somehow getting back on the road. Just look at his rapid responses. So he's well placed to give us a guide to rally reactions.
The car can snap so quickly sideways and like 100 mile an hour, and then it's gone like full 90 degrees to the road, and you got to try and get it back. So I guess we can't be too slow. Maybe some people think we are, but
is this skill something they can practice and improve?
There's a lot of games as well you can play. Like you see cricket wicket keepers or soccer goalies, they practice their reactions, and you do a similar sort of thing, just with either lights or reactions or tests, but nothing beats driving.
Failing the high-tech tests, they can always resort to the children's game, as this reporter encouraged Gigi Gali to do. As well as reacting quickly, they also have to react appropriately.
It's a difficult one because you almost don't want to overreact. If you are maybe too quick, you can overreact, and I think they've looked into it a little bit. And it's not necessarily the guy with the fastest reactions, like some guy on a computer might actually have the fastest reactions, but it's a matter of controlling those reactions and doing the right things with them. You'll see people knocking down the gears as they're spinning backwards off the road, so they're ready to go forward as soon as it stops up. Okay, sometimes you hit something, you're out, and other times you don't, and you keep going, you lose as little time as possible. The hardest things with these cars is because we left foot brake all the time, so you got both feet on the brake pedal and the throttle pedal. So the hardest thing is for me, you can't actually swap your feet quick enough from the right foot to the brake and get your left foot in the clutch to stop it stalling. If you do, then you'll save time, but most people generally end up stalling, but if you can avoid that, that's where you'll save your time.
No problems with Chris Atkinson's reactions today, but the conditions remain tricky, so all the crews likely to need their lightning reflexes as we go into stages 8 and 9. Danny Sordo, having just lost 5th place to his teammate Pons on stage 7, is eager to fight back, but he's hit trouble. Very rare for a Citroën this, he has a mechanical problem. His gearbox is broken and he's lost 4th, 5th and 6th gears. Danny drops to 8th. Chris takes advantage. And he moves up to 6th place overall. He's had an up and down year, 4th in Japan, but scoring no points in 9 events. He'll be hoping for a strong result and for that to mark a change in his fortunes going into 2007.
Then half long 6 left plus, then 6 right hand times long 5 minus opens.
Manfred Stoll, remember, has taken 2nd place from Solberg and knows he'll be in a fight to defend it. And look at those rapid reactions. He managed to regain control and stay on the road. He drops nearly 4 seconds to Solberg on stage 8, so he goes into stage 9 just under a second ahead of his rival. Let's join the commentary with Paul King.
Solberg, of course, is doing everything he can to claw back the time lost earlier. And after that, on stage 8, here on the following test, is attacking hard again. There's the target time he needs to beat to regain 2nd, and comparing the two drivers' performances, it's looking good for Solberg. Looks like a huge gap, but at such high speeds, they're actually closer than they seem. But he's done it. Petter's back in 2nd, and by the end of the stage, the Norwegian's now 3.8 seconds ahead.
Behind Solberg and Stoll, Chevy Pons has closed in on Jari-Matti Latvala. Just over 5 seconds separate them. François Duval has climbed above Sordo. At the top, Gronholm's now a minute clear of the pack. Petter back up to 2nd, less than 4 seconds ahead of Stoll. At service, Danny Sordo's fans are in good voice, but it looks like Stoll's in a better position to take 4th in the Drivers' Championship.
Manfred, how's your morning been going, and what about that big battle with Petter Solberg?
Yeah, we don't go the absolute last risk because today the stages are shorter. You cannot win a massive time out of it, so we try just to keep close to Petter, and tomorrow is still a long way to go.
Just 3.8 seconds though. You're not going to have a go this afternoon and try and pass him?
I mean, of course I try, but as I say, the stages today you can win like 2-3 seconds and not so much more. Tomorrow can be different.
Petter, it sounds like quite an eventful morning for you.
Yeah. I tried hard from the start and struggled a lot with the understeer, much more than yesterday. So it was a long right hand, it tightens, and I long time with understeer, and then in the ditch, and I got 4 or 5 people to help me, and some nice Welsh people.
We know you're desperate to win here in Wales, maybe pushing a bit too hard?
Oh yeah, definitely.
We'll be back after the break as this battle for 2nd place continues between OMV Peugeot's Manfred Stoll and former world champion Petter Solberg. Don't go away. Welcome back to the second day of Wales Rally GB, where there are battles being fought across the leaderboard. In the scrap over fourth place, Xavier Pons beats Jari-Matti Latvala on stage 10, and at last manages to get ahead of him to take fourth on stage 11, though with a lead of just 0.2 of a second. Ahead of him, Petter Solberg is fighting to pull away from Manfred Stoll. He admitted he was perhaps pushing too hard this morning, and it seems he might be doing the same this afternoon.
100.
That impact's damaged the Impreza, and with his car not responding properly, Solberg will struggle on stage 12.
Okay, well done. Puncher?
No, it's something more. The steering and everything.
So, after more than 220 competitive two pairs of drivers are separated by just 0.1 of a second. Petter just 1/10 ahead of Manfred, Xavier 2/10 ahead of Jari-Matti. Nail-biting stuff, and let's get right back to it on stage 12.
Well, pretty horrendous conditions out here this afternoon as Chevy Pons pushes as hard as he dares in his efforts to keep Jari-Matti Latvala behind. A big slide from the Spaniard there. It's obviously incredibly slippery, but it's weather like this that's characterised Rally GB for years. Here's Latvala now, and the young Finn came into stage 12 only 0.2 of a second behind Pons, so he's on a charge to try and regain the position. That's the target time. The Stobart Ford driver needs to overhaul Pons, and he's already passed it. He's beaten and is now 6.4 seconds behind.
This is one of the best stages in the rally. I like this stage. I had a good feeling, and I wanted to give a little bit pressure that we could have a battle tomorrow as well.
Battles up and down the leaderboard this afternoon. Stoll begins the stage just 0.1 of a second behind Petter Solberg. He may well have heard that the Norwegian could be struggling after that impact on the previous test, and this could be his chance to take back second. So as Solberg waits on the start line, it remains to be seen just how badly damaged that steering is. He's away. The Norwegian has made temporary repairs in the road section before this stage, but even the slightest problem with the steering will make the Impreza extremely difficult to handle. Back with Stoll now as his Peugeot approaches the 10.4 kilometre split. That's just over halfway through the stage. And a benchmark of 6 minutes 34.9 seconds for Solberg to chase.
Don't jump too hard.
Rejoining the Norwegian then, and this must be so frustrating for Petter. This time yesterday he was closing on rally leader Marcus Gronholm, and now he's about to lose second. Petter's much slower as he passes that split time. He's already a massive 32.1 seconds down. Well, Stoll's tactics were simply to keep the pressure on Solberg and hope the Norwegian made a mistake, and that's exactly what's happened. With Petter losing a huge amount of time with that steering problem, Manfred has a real chance to put some daylight between them here. Here comes Solberg now. And look at the clock. This is going to be a long way off the time set by Stoll.
Crest 80.
His second place is a distant memory. He's now 48 seconds behind Stoll in third.
On earth is it like driving on a stage where it's so slippery, it's been raining terribly with no steering?
Not easy.
Can you fight back tomorrow?
Well, we will see. We will see. We have to first come down to super special.
Way out in front, though, it's still Marcus Gronholm, who's got little to worry about other than keeping the car on the road. Few drivers like to back off completely, though, in this sort of situation, and Gronholm is no different. Let's take this opportunity to ride with the former world champion through another blisteringly quick section and just keep speeds here. It's impressive stuff, and Marcus, once again, is fastest on stage 12.
So Manfred Stoll seems to have a real hold on second place now, 48 seconds ahead of Solberg, who's just 22 seconds ahead of Chevy Pons. Pons has extended his lead over Latvala to 6.5 seconds, and Pons' teammate Danny Sordo is 8th. Sordo's gearbox was fixed at the midday service. It doesn't really look possible for him to move far up the leaderboard. So during the afternoon, he's been concentrating on tidying up his pace notes for Wales next year, when of course he won't be driving a Zara. With the return of Citroën as a full manufacturer's team, the Zara will be replaced by the C4. So let's take a look back at the most successful car of recent years. The Zara made its WRC debut in Spain 2001 and recorded its first victory that same year in Corsica with Jesus Puras driving. The following year, Sebastian Loeb joined the team full-time, winning his first WRC event in Germany 2002. 2003 saw the Zara's first full season in the WRC and an auspicious start for the team with Loeb, Carlos Sainz and Colin McRae sweeping the podium in Monte Carlo. Sainz drove the car to its first gravel victory in Turkey, and with that powerful triumvirate on board, Citroën won their first Manufacturers' Championship, with Loeb giving a clear sign of what was to come by finishing second in the drivers. And the following year, Loeb went one better, winning the driver's title. The Frenchman won 6 events, including the Swedish rally, the car now with victories on all surfaces, and again coming out on top in the Manufacturers' Championship. In 2005, Citroën and Loeb did the Manufacturers' drivers double again, demolishing record after record on the way, with Seb winning 6 events on the spin and clocking up 10 of the Zara's 11 victories across the season. As for this year, with the Zara's run by Kronos Citroën, another Drivers' Championship for Loeb, but they couldn't quite take the manufacturers, finishing second. And here is the Zara's legacy in numbers: 32 victories and 43 other podium finishes, 3 drivers' crowns and 3 manufacturers' titles. But perhaps the most telling statistic is this: in 201 entries, just 17 retirements due to mechanical failure. The C4 has a lot to live up to. Well, that's for next year, but for now, time to find out how some of the drivers lower down the order of faring. Francois Duval is 1 place ahead of Danny Sordo in 7th. With 4 top 4 stage times today, the Belgian's aiming to prove that he hasn't lost his touch since losing his drive at Citroën. In 9th place, a minute 20 behind Sordo, is Harry Rovanperä. Red Bull Skoda back competing in GB after a 2-rally absence. With Andreas Eigner out, Rovanperä's flying the flag for his team. He picked up a manufacturer's point on his first drive for Red Bull Skoda and would love to repeat that here. Behind him, the young Czech driver Jan Kopecky. He's in another Fabia, this one run by the Czech rally team. Kopecky finished 5th in Spain this year, as well as scoring points in Germany and Finland. Tarmac's his speciality, but he seems to be growing in confidence on gravel. Solberg, who lost time with an off on day 1, is 12th overall. The Norwegian admitted his confidence was a little broken, and heavy rain this afternoon will have done little to ease his nerves. But he still aims to get a manufacturer's point for OMV Peugeot. The leading British driver, Matthew Wilson, is 11th. He's competing on these stages for the 3rd time and still in his teens. His task here was made all the tougher by a 1-minute penalty imposed before the rally started for a catalogue of speeding offences, culminating when he broke the speed limit on a road section in New Zealand. Mark Higgins was the leading light for the home drivers and was holding the final points position. But the British rally champions had a failure on stage 8 and retired. The The final action of the day is the indoor super special in Cardiff's Millennium Stadium. No changes to the leaderboard after stage 13, though Jari-Matti Latvala's closed in on Chevy Pons. That duel far from over. Marcus Gronholm, who's led from the start, took his 9th stage win of the rally in front of the crowds of spectators. As well as the great action, being undercover is a luxury with the cold and bleak British winter weather. But tomorrow, it's back outside into the Welsh countryside for the final day's action. So don't go away. Day 3 of Wales Rally GB follows after the break. The final day of Wales Rally GB, and overnight there were gales and heavy rain, so these very technically difficult will be especially slippery and treacherous. Jari-Matti Latvala starts the day in 5th place. He's just 4.4 seconds behind Kronos Citroen's Chevy Pons. And the Finn is putting in a superb performance and posts a good time on stage 14, Bregfa. Chevy Pons can't match him. He trails Latvala by 1.4 seconds, narrowing the margin between them to just 3 seconds overall. And on stage 15, where Latvala set a fantastic time and Pons is up against it, this won't help him. Let's go to the commentary with Paul King.
Well, that was a crucial mistake at the worst possible time from the Spaniard. A quick 180 spin to get back in the right direction, but he's lost a lot of time getting back on his way. And with Latvala just 3 seconds back, he'll surely lose 4th place here. Yes, he's already way behind the target time, so they've lost the position. A huge disappointment for Chevy with just 2 stages to come. He's now over half a minute behind the Finn.
As for Subaru's Petter Solberg, he blasts everybody on Bregfa, winning the stage and closing the margin between himself and second-place Manfred Stoll by 16 seconds. But on stage 15, Troyes Coed, Petter doesn't have it all his own way. He's got a puncture, and this is the corner where Pons spun.
16.
And Solberg does too. And now he's hemorrhaging time.
Come on! Turn off the response, turn off the response.
Petter and co-driver Phil Mills calling the spectators to help the car.
Good lads, okay.
Finally, they're away. He drops nearly 20 seconds and is now just 15.5 seconds ahead of Pons.
And shot, 4 right minus, cut, 1 left last long.
Manfred Stoll's tactics on day 2 worked perfectly. He kept the pressure on Petter Solberg until the Norwegian made a mistake. He may have been concerned about Petter's dominance on stage 14, but news of his rival's spin will have brought relief on stage 15. And remember Marcus Gronholm? The man who stayed on target while all around him drivers have lost their grip or their nerve. He said these stages are tough and he didn't want to have to push on this final day. And just look at that. They're tricky enough to even Gronholm out. Even with this slight mistake, he stays well out in front. The Ford team with their fingers crossed. They haven't won their home event since 1979. So Marcus's lead, 1 minute 12. Jari-Matti Latvala is back in 4th place, only 15.5 seconds behind Petter Solberg. Chevy Pons is 5th, ahead of Chris Atkinson and Francois Duval. And just 6.5 seconds further back is Danny Sordo. The crews head back to the service park outside Swansea. It's been another bruising session, and there are a fair few dents, bashes and smashes to be investigated and repaired. All the mechanics seeking to ensure that every car is in perfect condition before the final push, the last 2 stages of Wales Rally GB. First up, a rerun through Brekva, where Petter Solberg's fastest, and which Marcus Gronholm and Timo Rautiainen navigate without incident, looking relaxed and in control. Let's see how some of the other crews have got on. In 6th place, Chris Atkinson. The Australian was 6th last year and going well when he had a big off on day 2. And that might have rattled his nerves, but he reacts swiftly and gets away with it, holding his position.
59 right on crest, 100.
Francois Duval is 7th, but he's under real pressure from Dani Sordo and came into stage 16 just 6.5 seconds ahead of the Spaniard. As for Sordo, he says this is the toughest event of the season, with grip levels changing constantly. Nevertheless, it's been mechanical problems rather than driver errors which dropped him out of contention for a podium. He beats Duval by 9.2 seconds to take 7th place, with just a stage to go. Matthew Wilson is the highest placed British driver. He's heading home 12th. It's been a steep learning curve for the youngster, but he's relished the challenge of a full season in the WRC. So to the final stage of Wales Rally GB and of 2006. Chevy Pons was desperate to earn his first podium finish here. As it's turned out, he couldn't overhaul Jari-Matti Latvala. No one could replace the absent Sebastian Loeb, but Pons has done a commendable job and fulfilled the role to the best of his ability. He's set to finish 5th. For Latvala in 4th, this will be a career best. Finland just keeps on producing fast young rally drivers. The team will be delighted it'll be Stobart VK Ford's best finish too. As for Petter Solberg, the Norwegian will be ending the season without a win to his name. Petter will be hoping that his Impreza is more competitive next year, when he has the added interest of a change of tyre supplier. Subaru will be using BF Goodrich, and Petter will be hoping to add a win quota. 2006 has been something of a disappointment.
Thank you. Thank you for the season.
Yeah, exactly. Not the season over.
Yeah.
I'm happy with 3rd. Last rally, good for the mechanics, and for Pirelli, thank you very much. Done a very good job. We have won many rallies together, and I'm looking forward to next year.
Manfred Stoll is looking forward to equalling a career best 2nd place finish. It's particularly special for the Austrian, as Wales Rally GB is the 50th rally that he and co-driver Ilka Miner have started together. They're ending this first full season with a run of 3 podiums, and their point-scoring record, 12 rallies out of 16, is bettered only by Marcus Gronholm. Manfred and Ilka can be rightly proud.
I'm quite pleased with the season. A great thanks to the car. We make 16 events, 16 times. And on any technical problem, it's unbelievable. I think it's the most reliable car I ever drive in my life.
So to the rally leader, who's led from stage 1 and had scarcely a moment of doubt. Another assured drive from Gronholm, ably assisted by brother-in-law Timo Rautiainen. With this victory, Gronholm will have 25 career wins, more than any other Finnish rally driver. And it'll also make him level on wins with Britain's Colin McRae. 7 victories in a single year is a personal record for Marcus, but next year, no doubt, he and Timo want more. For now, the season's ended satisfyingly for Ford and for the Finns.
Marcus first overall. That's 7 wins this season, 25th career, and first time Ford to win here in 27 years.
Lot of statistics now. Yeah, it's good. It's good feeling after all. Yeah, very good for my first year with Ford and so, and to finish 1 point behind Sebi. It's a little bit, you know. Otherwise it would have been fantastic.
Here's confirmation of how it finished. Marcus Gronholm, the first Ford winner of Wales Rally GB in 27 years, and a great result for Jari-Matti Latvala, a career best for him. The 8 points for Manfred Stoll, opposed to the 2 that Dani Sordo has gained, means that the Austrian will leapfrog the Spaniard in the Drivers' Championship. The Ford team hail the returning hero, who's finishing the season with aplomb. Team boss Malcolm Wilson says they won the Manufacturers' Championship a year earlier than their target. They'll be challenging to do the double next year. As for this year in the Drivers' Championship, Manfred Stoll snatched 4th place from Dani Sordo, and despite missing the last 4 events, Sebastian Loeb, of course, is the 2006 champion. Gronholm 2nd, his teammate Mikko Hirvonen is 3rd. BP Ford confirmed their manufacturer's title in the previous round. New Zealand, Kronos Citroën second, and Subaru defended third from OMV Peugeot. It all gets underway again with the traditional season's opener in Monte Carlo in January. That's less than 2 months away. Until then, if you're missing your rally fix, you can get all the news on WRC.com. But for now, we'll leave you with a few memories of the World Rally Championship 2006.